I didn't think there was much to eat here. I didn't expect the players to catch fish one by one. They're bigger than each other. Look at this. It's the size of my arm. The heart of a fresh fish will still beat. It must be fresher than the market. But the worst was for her. Don't try to catch 4 fish at once. The problem is that the fire won't light. The fish is just lying in the pan. You can't eat it raw. Can only look at the uncomfortable want to cry. Would you eat it raw without a light? Day 5 of the challenge. There are 7 men left on the court. The camera goes to Joel. He hasn't slept well since he got here. The mental state is pretty bad. I thought I'd catch some fish in a fishing net. And the truth is nothing. The stomach is growling with hunger. The body can't carry on like this. Can only try to see by fishing. Now the days that is more and more sad. Even if you put on all your clothes. Still shivering with the cold. The situation is getting worse every day. I'm afraid I'll wake up one day with no feeling in my toes. He didn't think he had a chance at the bonus. Sleep deprivation is already very bad for your mental state. And now there's no food to eat. Doubly tortured, I want to quit the challenge and go home. You know, it's just not a normal place to be. I prefer to stay at home and modify the car. He's not exactly a wilderness survival expert, is he? It really is one day at a time. Probably because he's an engineer. Do everything gradually. If something goes wrong in the wild, you're going to be very passive. We talk a lot to Dad before we got here. He knows that food is the biggest problem. If it doesn't work out, I might not last a week. So he wanted to ask people, how does this ability to starve improve? I wish someone else would quit the challenge sooner. Joel can only pray he catches a fish early. Or you might faint on the floor. The camera goes to Nicole. She was mentally ill herself. Once the mood appears low, I would cry for no reason. I'm fine with my boyfriend's company. Now she can only talk to the camera. I wish I could have some meat right now. Head to the shore immediately to check the nets. I was lucky to have a fish hanging there today. The mood is so good. It's just a little stuck that needs to be brought down to the water. That's a pretty good size. The mood is much better in an instant. Maybe I was so excited that I couldn't help crying again. Take the time to clean the fish. Look at that fish with its heart still beating. Surely the meat can't be any worse. People think it's cooked or boiled. Just didn't bring the seasoning. It must taste really fishy. Still, food should not be wasted. Save up enough to feed yourself for a week. Start with a whole grilled fish tail. It's not as fishy as I thought. It's full of happiness to eat. I instantly fell in love with the grilled fish. Not so happy on Joel's side. I didn't get any food today, only to stay in the shelter and starve. Everyone else is here to eat and drink. How did you end up like this? Seriously doubt is where the show crew put it. Why else would there be no meat? It would be nice if the waves caught the fish on shore. I'm sure it smells good in the pan. The stomach was twitching. I'm not going to get much sleep tonight. What if there's no more food tomorrow? I'm sure I can't keep going. All I can do is sing.
Giving up on you.
I have to say it sounds pretty good. I think he's on the wrong show. Why don't you go next door and sign up for The Voice? At least you don't have to worry about going hungry. Day 6 of the challenge. Halavi woke up and felt the temperature drop again. Even with the thickest clothes on, it will still be chilled by the wind. I really can't get any more sleep. Looking at the family pictures, I really miss them. I've been preparing for this challenge for a long time. I'm just a designer. It has nothing to do with survival in the wild. This time to be able to participate in the challenge. I don't know how the show gets selected. I like to do yoga in nature. This can help to calm frayed nerves, even though people don't like themselves. But I still want to take a brave challenge. Even if I go home on the first day, I think it was a good experience. Of course, the best thing is to take home the prize money. If I could find out about the other players. She thought it would be more reassuring. The family would love to see it too. I don't know who's going to pick the rest of the show. I thought it was too simple. I didn't realize how difficult it was until I actually got here. Whether it's food or shelter, it takes a lot of time and energy. I guess I was just happier when I first got here. Now I really want to go back and hug my husband. The mood is getting lower and lower. The camera goes to Daniel. The nets didn't catch any fish today. The mood is a little down. The only good news is that the net wasn't badly damaged. Should be able to last until the end of the challenge. I'm so hungry. I can only roar at the sky. The challenge must continue. We just have to readjust the nets. Hopefully this will increase the success rate of catching fish. All the fish we caught in front of us are long gone. Need some food to fill up. I'm sure someone will ask, why don't people hunt with bows and arrows? Obviously, we're just not up to par. Plus, there's no animals around to hunt. I can only eat by catching fish. Daniel had a real headache with the nets. No idea when it was damaged. There's still a lot of green liquid hanging from it. No wonder no fish have been strolling around lately. I don't know how this is going to clean up. Daniel is so lost right now. I don't think any of the players have seen it before. It feels like nature has targeted you. I mean, we can't catch fish today, but try to set the hook down. The rocks here are really slippery. I almost sent myself away. I don't know if tomorrow will be a surprise. The camera goes to Jonas. He feels more tired day by day. The naked eye can see a lot of haggard. If we hadn't gotten some fish earlier, I'd have quit the challenge and gone home a long time ago. Not to worry about food though, but the body is really tired. Take a long break every day. It takes more energy than you thought. I don't know how those people make it to 100 days. I feel like I've had a hard month. The big bed at home is comfortable. And don't worry about getting hungry. Now the strategy is to eat more food and rest. Make sure the body can hold out here. The camera goes to Joel. The mental state was pretty bad. I thought fish would fall from the sky. You should be lying down eating grilled fish. If we don't get him some fish, I feel like I'm going to jump in the water the next second. Braving the cold to get the nets up. It's hard to even lift it now. I don't know if prayer plays a role. I can't believe I actually caught a fish. Take the knife and clean it immediately. I've been hungry for a long time, and I've got meat to eat. The mood was quite exciting. As long as something goes in your stomach, anything is possible. The camera goes to Nicole. Every day I wake up and check the nets. Good luck today, too. There were 2 fish in the net, too. She's a little curious about how everyone else is doing. There should be no one like me. Build a raft to catch fish. Life is getting better and better. I'm gonna get a shelf just for smoking fish. Make sure you have something to eat every day. Although the finished product looks a little simple, but it must be nice to smoke on it. It's just that the fire got a little big. I can't stand choking myself. It's a lot worse on the high levy side. The net was about to get tangled up. The fish can't see it, and it takes time to deal with it. The body that is thin rather quickly. I'm afraid I'll be dismissed if I keep going like this. Now we just have to figure out how to fish, okay? She tried too. It just doesn't work very well. For now, I just eat some plants. The situation is getting worse and worse. Can't imagine what else to eat. The mood that is becoming more and more negative. Is it mainly because there's nothing nearby? I was thinking of quitting the challenge and going home. I didn't expect movement from the fishing pole. A very small fish. You'd think it was a mosaic if you didn't look closely. Anyway, meat would be nice, wouldn't it? You can keep going with a little effort. Such a small fish. I feel like I could swallow a mouthful. It's just cheating on my stomach. Jonas has always wanted to participate in solitary wilderness. He wanted to know what his limits were, right? It's harder than I thought. I'm doing pretty well for myself. He is not sure that he will get the bonus, but I'm sure I'll make it through the month. The players are not very strong this season. Plus the constraints of the show group. It feels like we could have a winner in about a month. At this thought, Jonas thought he could hold on. It's not as hard as it used to be. Work overtime all day long or on the way to work overtime. I didn't make enough money to pay for the gas. I hope I can go back with the prize money. It'll make life easier for the whole family. The challenge continues on the 7th day. The players are getting even more emaciated. I'm afraid I've lost more than 10 pounds. Let's take a look at Ada. She felt that time had passed quickly. Feels like I've only been here a while. If only for a few more weeks. She felt sure she could get the prize money. There's a lot of work to be done. Check your food every day. When she was trying to find berries, I suddenly noticed movement at the fishing net. I think we caught a fish. It can't be because you're blind. Retrieve the nets immediately. I didn't expect to catch 3 fish this time. That's one bigger than the other. I felt like I could stay for a month. Just a little fish a day. At least it'll give the body a little bit of healing. Now you can go back and cook the fish well. Joel just woke up a while ago. He feels much more energetic now. If only I could sleep and wake up naturally every day. I really miss the little snacks at home. I wish I hadn't finished before I got here. Firewood is what's scarce now. I spent half my day doing it. Still, it's not enough. Daniel is more concerned about food. No matter how tired you are, get up and check. As long as there are fish, then everything is fine. Too bad the bait's still out there. And this side of the net is much cleaner. But it's sticky when you touch it. Maybe you should boil it in boiling water. He really didn't want to lose the net. The body is particularly unmotivated. It's really just a matter of willpower. Daniel's just going to put it in the water. As long as you go far enough. It should be free of green algae. It would be nice to see the fish tomorrow. The only bad thing is that it's raining again. I hope it doesn't affect the nets. Eric wanted to catch the fish too. If I don't eat meat on the hour, I'll faint from hunger. Go into the water naked and check the nets. That was pretty good luck today. 4 fish at once. I won't be hungry for a few days. The mood is so good. I just can't make a fire after all this time. It always takes till dark to get it done. It will affect the mood a little bit. The worst is the wet rain. It's even harder to ignite. You can't bring yourself to eat fish raw. Suddenly, I don't feel happy. Daniel says starting a fire is not difficult. As long as I can find birch bark. No matter how wet the weather is. Even if there are no birch trees nearby. Hay on the ground can also ignite. I didn't expect to find mushrooms here. That's quite a lot. So even if you don't get any fish to eat, you don't have to worry about starving yourself. Gather and stock up on mushrooms today. The mood is so good. Joel's still busy collecting firewood. It takes a lot of physical time to do it every day. although this is also important. But the body is really a little unbearable under such tired work. If nothing else, there was an accident. Just cut your finger off. Don't look at him smiling now. It is very uncomfortable inside. I didn't realize I was just here for wilderness survival. And you're going to hurt yourself? I'm sure I can't continue the challenge now. I had to call a doctor. He didn't want to bleed out and pass out. The worst part is the phone was in Norwegian. He doesn't understand any of this. It took a lot of time to pull each other down. The mood was very agitated. The show crew came as soon as they got the message. It's a good thing Joel is still physically able to move. Tell the doctor to disinfect the wound quickly. I was hoping we could get stitches on the spot. I didn't think this guy was too deep. We have to go to the hospital. It used to take at least 6 hours. Joel felt terrible. He's been chopping firewood there since the beginning. There's a bunch of them just waiting to burn. I would have gotten more food if I knew this was going to happen. I'm sorry Joel had to go home with his wounds. I hope you haven't caught anything, have you? There's only 6 guys left on the court. Who do you think will make it to the end? Let's wait and see. They say rainy days go well with fish. There's a contestant out there eating fish. There's really no seasoning. It's all about the flavor of the ingredients themselves. It's 100% authentic. Not even a drop of water was added. If you want to boil it, consider putting some spruce branches. They say it tastes like nature. If anyone wants to go on a group tour, is there still a chance to get a bonus if you sign up now? The challenge continued on the 8th day. There are 6 men left on the court. The camera goes to Hailevi. Before dawn, the sound of fishing nets was heard. She thought it would be great. Get over there and set up the nets right away. I didn't expect to catch 2 fish. Buy one get one free, that's pretty good. She just put the fish on the shore. Get it back at dawn. If nothing else, there was an accident. The fish on the shore disappeared. There was a sound in the bushes. She was so scared that she couldn't breathe. If there's a bear, it's all over. It's not easy being out there on your own. I mean, she almost has the mentality. I can't stand a straight emotional breakdown. I want to run home and hug my family right now. It would be nice to have regular chats with the family. Too bad the show won't let that happen. After all, this is the wilderness alone. Can't overcome loneliness, can go home. The camera goes to Erica. She was busy looking for dry firewood in the mountains. It's wet everywhere on a rainy day. Today it's harder to get the fire going. It's a hard time to live like this. It feels like even when the weather gets sunny, I can't make a fire on my own. The worst thing is that the fish we got yesterday couldn't be cooked. It really needs a fire to warm it up. If we don't get the fire started today, there's only one way home. Although it's been longer than expected. But I still want to hold on. There's food, but you can't eat it. The mood was pretty low. The camera goes to Daniel. I haven't had food in 5 days. The body is getting weaker and weaker. Feeling exhausted doing everything right now. Need some food to fill up and refresh. I could see something in the fishing net from a distance. Now is not the time to get excited. Got to hurry up and get this thing up, but there was nothing on it. You should know that you have a lot of fish to eat at the beginning. How does it get harder to get to the back? Are we going to set up fishing nets further afield? And on Nicole's side, it's been very fruitful. She feels like she's putting on weight here. It will last longer after being smoked. At least this week, you don't have to worry about hunger. I think I have a lot of experience as a wilderness survival expert. Next time I hope to bring my boyfriend to join us. As long as there's a little fish in the back every day. I'm confident I can make it through the month. Look at this big fish. At least 4 more. It turns out the raft is very important. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to get so many fish. The weather is not bad now. Didn't go out to sea for safety reasons. Stay here and enjoy the food. You can tell by the plate that it doesn't taste bad. Other players are welcome to try it out. Daniel was still busy collecting firewood. The saw blunted itself quite a bit. This piece will burn for a long time. Pictures of children for themselves is a reason to keep going, although it seems like a very small one. But he feels the same as when he was a kid. The wife lives alone at home. I was very worried. I asked my parents to take care of me before I came. Or how are they doing? If you don't go home with the prize money, I really don't live up to my wife's expectations. The more you think about it, the worse it gets. Daniel said it was just the smoke making his eyes water. If we don't catch any fish by tomorrow, there's a real chance the body won't be able to handle it. The worst thing is being carried away by the show crew. This is not the way he wants to quit the challenge. Hailevi's been busy collecting firewood. Wilderness survival is mostly repetitive boredom. Sometimes I feel like an NPC. You're constantly doing the same thing. If it wasn't for your stomach, it would be growling. It's really easy to lose yourself in the wild. A positive attitude doesn't work here. Having an emotional breakdown because of all sorts of things, especially now that I miss my family. There's nothing more important than a nice family, you know? If you put yourself out there for a month, it must drive you crazy. This is not the life I want. The emotion cannot help but start to cry again. I just wanted to see where the limits are, you know? For now, it looks like it could last a long time. It's just that being alone is so painful. She didn't think it would have such a big impact. I've been thinking about quitting the challenge. It doesn't look like it's going to last much longer. Ada is much more optimistic. All I wanted to do was get my bonus home. So no matter how difficult it is, you have to overcome it. Set small goals at a time. It makes life easier. The biggest problem is food. The difference between the energy gained and the energy expended is too great. My body is not going to be able to handle this. I hope this net will help. I was pretty confident before I came here. I think wilderness survival is as hard as work. After all, working overtime every day is usually unbearable. The family was very supportive of coming. They feel there must be a strong desire for the prize money. That's how you last in the wild. As long as it doesn't hurt. Surely, there's nothing wrong with starving. Ada thinks she has a chance. The other players didn't look strong either. Maybe just one or two. Just try your best. Starving for a week isn't a problem, is it? Of course, it would be nice to have a steady source of food. Look at this big thing in the net. I haven't seen one this strong in a long time. I need 2 hands to lift myself. Things are going so well right now. It's really not a script. She caught the big fish on her own merits. Look at all these fish on the ground. I don't have to worry about it for the next week. What no one expected was, it rained heavily that night. Erica hasn't succeeded in lighting the fire yet. Now she had to face the cold and the wet. I was shivering with cold. It's not going to light up tomorrow. The other players aren't recycling their nets. Is reinforcing the shelter. They were worried about the wind blowing up too much during the night. The uneasiness that is getting heavier. I miss being with my family. We used to hang out together at parties. Why worry about storms? I barely made it to day 9. Jonas felt the environment get worse. The worst thing is that the body is very weak. Need more firewood and food to cope. Debating whether to cast a net. Afraid the waves will take it away. Finally decided to go from the heart. Keep away from shore to avoid being swept into the ocean. There's just no food for the next few days. I think the body can handle it. The snow line has begun to appear in Shauna. It gets harder the further you get. I wonder how the other contestants are doing. I wish I could go home soon and rest. The shelter doesn't look very promising either. For now, I can only stay warm in the shelter. Let's hope the weather gets better soon. There's no fire on Erica's end. It's all about willpower. Worst of all, the water level seems to be rising. I'm afraid we're going to flood the shelter. The pain in my back is quite unpleasant. It's only a little better after the surgery. I didn't expect to come to the challenge and have problems. Now I just want to light the fire. She doesn't want to be cold anymore. The fish are also waiting for the warmth of the fire. The camera goes to High-Levy. This weather is very disturbing. The shelter is not very strong. The mood was pretty low. Have no idea what to do with yourself. This is not the way to go. You have to plan your next move. Otherwise, I'm sure I'll burst into tears. I was afraid I'd never see my family again. Daniel, on the other hand, is not so worried. I picked a good place after all. The walls of the shelter were a little shaky. You just need to add some material to consolidate it. We need to warm up now. We're not going to be able to get food in this weather. Standing water around is a problem. We're going to have to fix up the perimeter. There's water on the wall that gets to the sleeping bag. Best thing to do is dig a trench and move things to the side. That's a lot of work. I have a special need for food, and now he doesn't know what to do. The worst part is Erica. The fish is already stinking. If there's no fire today, can only give this gift back to nature. I can see for myself that the former players had a very comfortable life. Why did she fall on the fire? Even if Erica does eat the fish raw, it's hard to get through the night without a fire. I'm getting closer and closer to home. Whether she can make it through the day is also a question. Daniel's still busy fortifying the shelter. But this rain is really annoying. I've never been so tired. My limbs are already sore. It is mainly caused by pulling fishing nets every day. He wondered how long it would take to win. The mood was pretty low. I'd love to get back to my wife now. I often wonder if the bonus is really so important. So anxious that you don't want to do anything. We have a contestant paging the show. Guess which one of the contestants is going to lose it? I thought Erica left first. After all, she has no fire. The one you didn't expect was High-Levy. She couldn't stand being alone. Saw the show boat coming. It feels a lot easier. The bags are already packed. She didn't want to go through another storm. That feeling of uneasiness is really hard. I've done well to make it this far. Once you get homesick, it's hard to ignore the feeling. I wasn't supposed to get the bonus anyway. Go home and be together while you're still healthy. The experience also taught her a lesson. Survival in the wild is not as easy as it seems. Even if you eat and drink well every day, the feeling of loneliness is really hard to resist. With a little less willpower, I think I'll be home in a few days. If I had the chance to participate again, I hope the kids can come and experience it. I don't know how many players are left here. Must have a lot of willpower to stay until the end. I only know in the show AIRS. I want to give the champ a big hug. Ask him how he keeps going. With High-Levy out of the challenge, there are only 5 left on the court. How does Erica start a fire out of nowhere? The mood is so good. I can finally roast the fish and fill my stomach. This fire must be maintained well. She also collected some plants to make tea. Life is finally getting better. I'm confident I can make it through the month, as long as the flame is lit properly. Next, we need more wood to dry. Make sure the fire can be maintained at night. Daniel managed to light the fire, but the wood was too wet. The smoke is pretty bad. Now it's all about the food. Luckily, the nets didn't wash away. Let's see if there's any fish on it. I didn't realize there was actually a fish there, even though he says he's a little fish. Actually, he looks pretty good. This time he put some spruce to cook with. The fish doesn't smell so fishy. I wish my wife could taste it. It smells really good. If only we could get some rest when the weather is nice. Your body will be in much better shape. And Ada's checking the nets, although it doesn't work so well when it rains. But she didn't want to miss any chance to get food. There's always a wave coming in when we pull in the net. It takes more energy to get it back. A little worried about the nets getting washed away. I don't know where the fish are. There's nothing I can do right now. I had to go back to the shelter and rest. Survival in the wild sometimes requires a bit of luck. Once you get used to the surroundings, it was pretty boring, either to sleep or to build a fire and chop wood. Get some food when you're hungry. If it wasn't for the bonus, I'd already quit the challenge and gone home. Hope the storm clears soon, or get stuck in the shelter. I want to go. The show crew can't come. How are the other contestants doing? She tried not to think about other people's affairs. Just your own thing. The only thing I want to know is how many are left. I think the storm will take a few away. The best thing is to go home next week. The storm is getting worse and worse. The players work hard to perfect the shelter. Nicole's cooking over here. The smoke is really choking. We can't go out and hide now. I just have to suck it up and go faster. A rainy day goes well with the fish. I have to say it's really delicious when cooked. Now you can enjoy your meal. At night, Jonas was cold enough to doubt life. It's like falling into a refrigerator. Just drink a little more hot water. Ada didn't feel good either. The wind kept trying to lift the tent. Worst of all, there are dead trees around. I was so scared. She doesn't have the strength to break free. What about the fishing nets? Should have put it away if I had known. Let's hope this storm ends soon. You don't think anyone can hold on. Let's wait and see.